Okay, I think we're
What channel are you on?
the Chariot and Friends.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Am I streaming? Hmm. Hmm.
What is that?
Oh, it's not showing up on my. Do you?
Okay, you are live.
Oh, I am live.
Yes.
Oh, well, I can't see myself. So we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, I might actually need a tech professional here in a second. But okay, I guess I'm live. So what's going on, Soul Tribe? And welcome to well, how am I going to find out so Soul Tribe, give me a second. Mercury retrograde. I'm going to figure out how I can see your comments. Just give me a moment while I get that pulled up there. But while you're coming in there, while you're joining, tell me where you're viewing me from. How's this? Oh, yeah, we're going strong right now. How do you? Okay, wait. Can I pull it up on my phone? Okay, hold on. Can you tell this is my first time? Oh, there I am. Just give me a moment while I get that pulled up there. Love that. Okay. Hey, I need your. Thank you, psychic. Okay. F. Okay. So excuse me. This is. Oh, hey, we got another one here. Thanks for joining. Say hey in the chat. You're coming in during the shenanigans. So, oh crap. Okay. Hold on. Got to get something unlocked here. I should have definitely planned for this. Okay. Oh, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm there. We're commenting. Hey, Eugene. Thanks. Definitely could use the moral support. But, okay, we're just going to go ahead and get into this thing. So, welcome to the Chariot and Friends again. Justin here. And I hope you're feeling amazing today. Hopefully, Mercury retrograde is kinder to you than it is doing for me right now. So yeah, again, tell me as you're joining where you're watching from, and if you're part of the replay crew, I will have most of that edited out. So you won't have to sit through all of that technical difficulties. I'm going to get an adult here to get that figured out. But thank you for coming by. If you're on the replay, be sure to comment and have any questions for me or anything along those lines. I'll be sure to get back to you. I guess that's how that works. But so on this live stream, I wanted to do kind of a big thing because I do kind of have like a kind of a big announcement here. We just started into the Leo new moon cycle not too long ago. And with this is happening in my first house. So that's the house of new beginnings. You know, I'm getting this revitalization of energy, just new inspirations. I wanted to create a lot of things. And, you know, now with Mercury retrograde here, I'm just taking one thing at a time. But one thing I wanted to talk about during this live was a big project that I'm working on, and that is the Lunar Mansion. And I'm going to go into some details into that. And then after I talk about that, if you have any questions, I'll be sure to answer those. And then we'll go into some examples of like doing how important it can be to work with the moon. I'm going to do some lunar return charts. And you know, the moon is such a great tracker. You know, we go to look to her every night. She's our connection with the sun. You know, when you think about it, you can't look at the sun directly, but the moon reflects that solar light and allows us to connect with that energy on a very deeper level, helps us connect to that soul self. So learning to work with the moon is a very integral part of the whole soul growth process here. So I guess let's get into it. I created this group called the Lunar Mansion. And what is going to be involved, actually, let me get up my little notes here. Because what this group is about, I know, right, Eugene, this Mercury retrograde is for real. But what this group is about is we meet together. You know, every time you get together like once a month with the new moon, you kind of work through a cycle real quick and you can just kind of forget about the growth that happens. So what this group is about is working over a 27-month cycle. You know, working from the new moon that starts to the first quarter, the actual first quarter moon. So I'm doing my first one will be on September 2nd. I already have links down I will include links down in the description box and all that. I'll figure out how to pin that in the subject and all of that cool stuff. But the first group is going to be on September 2nd. And so the whole purpose of this is to really nurture this growth. We look at the subject that this new moon is happening for you in Virgo. We look at what house theme that this is starting up. Is this in your house of children? Is this in the house of relationships, the house of travel? Is this the house of family? Is this the house of money? We look at that, and then we get a game plan. And we have a meeting over there. It will be like a group meeting. It'll be kind of a small group. It'll be a group of 4. I have different time slots available for the day. I'm starting off kind of small, and I'll expand as the group grows in the future. But oh yes, and I will include a link, Eugene. Give me one moment. I will figure out how to include a link for you. Let me go to my Calendly here. I need like 8 arms to do all this stuff here. But oh, actually no, I'm not. Oh, look at me, savvy as all get out here. Bam. So that's to check out the link for the channel. I just included it in the description box below. So bam, there's that for you. I'll figure out how to pin that later. But we're going to be working, when you sign up for the group, we'll be working over a 27-month period. So we'll have 4 sessions that we'll meet. We'll meet up for the new moon, where we're setting the intention, the first quarter moon, where we will see what inspirations have sprouted up for you, what seems to make sense for where you're at on your journey right now to start up, what are some things to kind of put off, see what's happening in your chart during that time, to see if there's some things that are supporting one plan more than another. Then we'll meet at the full moon. That's the things that are starting to reach this culmination point. Then the last quarter. And so these will take place over, again, this 27. We'll meet once every 9 months. And the nice kind of thing about this is, too, that we're working for the long haul. This is something, too, like when you join this group, you're in. You don't have to be subscribed to every lunar cycle, because there may not be one. It may not be a focus that you want to see. There may be another one. Maybe you have one that's fallen, an eclipse that's falling on your Jupiter, that's falling on your Mars placement or something along those lines, and you want that one to be the focus. Then that'll be available for you, because we'll already have talked about any sort of key lunar dates, because it is going to be very moon focused when we're working in this group. Because again, you could do so much with the moon, and sometimes astrology can be a little overwhelming when you're hearing about, oh, Mars is doing this, Venus is doing this, the sun is doing this. I mean, we got a busy week coming up with this full moon, and this week is going to be like, but next week, we want to be ready. So if you're with all this stuff that's going on, it's you join this group. I have a Slack group that's there, so there's a way for us to stay in communication all the time. I'm going to have different tabs for different resources, as far as like different books if you're curious about astrology, and other things too. I have this great affirmation book that I'm a very avid reader, but I'm going to include some things as far as like, oh goodness, what else am I going to include? I got my notes here. I'm going to include just like any sort of like celestial news that's going on, any sort of like maybe meteor showers that are going on, any sort of like, oh, this planetary conjunction is going to be, or these planets are going to be visible. So maybe if I can't see it, maybe you can see it from your location. We share it in the group. It's almost like we're all kind of there. I want to do something too where, again, we're a group where I want to have a tab for you to put whatever services that you're providing as well. Maybe you happen to be a tailor. I could definitely use some fresh clothes. So maybe that's something we happen to do. Or maybe you happen to do some mechanic services, or maybe whatever you happen to do. I wanted to make this a real kind of big community thing. Not something where, again, once you sign up, you're in the group. You're in the group forever. The only ways that you could get out is if you just kind of voluntarily just kind of left, or if there's any sort of like misconduct or anything. Because, a big part of the group, we want to have respect, we want to have love, we're bringing friendship and community in this thing. We want to raise that vibration through the roof. And the lovely thing is, you'll be getting discounts on any sort of like services that I provide. So when you first come in, you'll have the one price, but then once you get settled in, everything will be 20% off for you. And No, so no, Eugene. So when you go to sign up for the Lunar Curse, it's $111 to sign up for the thing. But again, you're in this group for. We'll be working together over this 2 year period, and we'll have those 4 group meetings. You'll have that kind of unlimited access, as far as like communication, things along those lines. And then when we get into any sort of like lunar ones in the future, you'll get a 10% discount for any other lunar cycles that you want to sign up for. And then if we have any sort of eclipses that are coming off, you'll get 20% off for any sort of like, we have one that's happening for the Libra, for the new moon that's happening in Libra season. And so during that time, you'll get 20% off of the Libra new moon cycle. So that's one that it would be what would that be, $88 instead of the 99. So that's those are some ideas with the prices. I'm still kind of playing around with that stuff. Of course, I think the initial. Yeah. Yep. So I know, right? It's a really solid deal. It's something where it's meant to be kind of a really casual group. It's meant to be something where we can kind of check in when we feel like we need to check in. Part of the astrology is not to be just living in the chart. We have to get out there and actually live the life. And so this can be, this is just a great time to, when you find yourself kind of maybe hitting a roadblock there, again, having that place where you can have this community where, and then maybe someone has some resources for you. Some like, hey, I know this one service that can maybe help you with this thing, or this one thing that I can do with that thing. And you also get discounts on any of my courses that I plan on making in the future, any sort of like workshops. I got a bunch of stuff I've been working with. This one thing I've been working with my chart. I'll give you an example of how powerful this lunar stuff can be. One example with my with my one that I started off in the Aries new moon when we had that whole eclipse. I got a whole thing there. I'm synced up with the moon, and I mean, it's been nothing but lunar stuff that's been coming my way, from various kind of books to starting up this whole group to get this inspiration. I've been studying this, getting into like the nakshatras, the lunar mansions, hence the title. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can come, a lot of powerful stuff. I joined this astrology hub, and I've been trying to get more involved in that community, and just a whole number of things that I'm really just seeing my chart come to life. A really wild one. I'll tell you one. This one, if this is any kind of indicator, I have Africa, just the continent on my little chart there on my vision board. And I go to look into some astrolocality. That's something I've been kind of dabbling in. And I go to find out I have 6 hot spots in where really kind of concentrated energies are all in Africa. So I was like, got it. Okay, we're going to get there. And it's something that is going to probably take some time. It's probably going to take a couple of years, to get into that thing realistically. But it gives it it gives you things to look up forward to. It can help you set these shorter term goals, these longer term goals. The lunar cycle really is a great clock for us to work with. So that's what the group is about. And if you don't, let me make sure I check the group here if we have any questions. It doesn't look like it. So I think that's all the things that I have to sign up for the group. Signing up is open now. I have 4 slots available. I actually got all the time things figured out. So if you actually went to look before and you're like, wait, you're having a class like 6 a.m.? No, I got it all figured out. And so the earliest classes will be at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then they go, I think I have it at 9, 11, 1, and 3, something along those lines. So they have, and again, there's going to be 4 slots per class. And if there are, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to include a link to, actually, let me go ahead and put that in the description box as well. I'm going to include a link for you. If you want to book a free consultation call with me, you can do that, and I can answer any questions that you have for me. Give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. And if you have any questions for me, what service, because I also offer other packages as well where I do chart readings. As, for example, and I know Eugene's getting excited, we actually got a recent development here. We got an updated birth time for him. So we're going to get ready to look into that. But one of the things that I think I'm going to offer in this group as well, especially for those who have been in the group for a while, that I notice is, that help kind of really support the group. I want to say, I'm thinking for maybe every 3 lunar classes you sign up for, maybe doing a complimentary solar return reading or lunar return reading, whatever that happens to look like for you, whatever service. It's at least a lunar return reading. I feel like if you were to purchase one for, if you notice that there's like a particular month that you want to have your eyes out for. So, and we'll definitely work more into that as things unfold. I'm working out some of the kinks, but sign up is available now. You can click on that link to find out what time slots would work best for you. But if we need to move around some things, I can be flexible. I can maybe, if I get enough requests, I can maybe open up some things. So again, just contact me if you have any questions about those lines. So but without any further delay, let me see if this switches over to the chart. Give me one moment. I'm waiting for the other thing to catch up. Come on. Well, I'm gonna hopefully let me know that you can see that chart. It should be a picture of me, and then there's a chart of a lunar return chart for Eugene here. Well, I'm gonna talk like it's like that's what's going on right now, because that's what's happening here in my world. But let me get my handy dandy drawer out here. So, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I think I'm getting to the part where I'm switching over. Oh, there it is. Okay, so again, my apologies. I'll do my best to edit this. So, with the lunar return chart, the lunar return chart can be a very, very useful tool for you to because again, you think of the moon as how you nurture yourself, how you take care of your body. That's both your emotional needs and your physical needs, and then that's how you take care of this ascendant. That's why the sun, the moon, and the ascendant sign or the rising sign are very important for you. I know that's right. And so for Eugene here, the nice thing, similar to the solar return charts, the lunar return is one where it's going to always fall in the same zodiac sign. So every month, Eugene, you will have the moon in Libra comes to that same spot where your moon in Libra is at, 5 degrees and 29 minutes. So every time that's there, you're starting a new, kind of a new lunar cycle, a new personal. It's like a lunar birthday in a sense. That's how you can look at the solar, or excuse me, the lunar return chart. But what would be different is the house that it falls in. And the houses are the different themes of the human experience here. Now, yours, Eugene, let's kind of talk about this here. Yours is falling in the 12th house. Now, as someone who has their sun in the 12th house, it's not as bad as it seems. You know, this is the house of, it's a house of misfortune. It could be a house of isolation. It was considered the bad fortune house. That's the house that in ancient astrology, that's the house that Saturn celebrates in. But when you think about Saturn, there's a dual side to Saturn. It's not just all, Saturn's not about doom and gloom. He also, in ancient time, he's associated with the god of agriculture. Saturn is one that lays down the foundation that can grow things. So if you find yourself, especially with it here too, your moon is forming a conjunction with the south node. This is getting to a place, if you find yourself getting into old patterns, you know, finding yourself, the 12th house can be the house of enemies. If there's not any sort of like things where there's sort of like gossip or anything going on, this could be things that are going on in your head. They're sort of like more internal enemies. And so with it being in conjunction here with the moon, you want to look to the north node here. And the north node, let me circle that on here. The north node there is in the 6th house. So one way to maybe process if you have any sort of, if you're feeling maybe isolated, or if you're feeling like you're having a tougher time, kind of an emotional landscape, doing some things of service. This could be maybe joining like a big brother, big sister type of thing, doing some kind of volunteer sort of work, being of service, you know, maybe doing some sort of like busy work, but definitely doing some. 6th house is also just like taking care of your general health. So if you find older things not working, you know, this could be looking to some newer type of routines that you're needing to do. And keep in mind when you're working with your moon, if your moon's not in Cancer, you know, the sign that the moon is lord over, then you want to look to the dispositor of your moon. And your moon dispositor is Venus. Now Venus Venus here, she's having a little bit of trouble. She's in fall right now, being in Virgo, but that's just because now she has to be kind of real with herself. She has to be discerning. There's certain things that are just not like that now, that aren't necessarily working. She's needing look at the areas where you're needing a little bit more love in your life. Bring a bit more love into your future per se. Take yourself out to kind of do some sort of like self-care sort of routines. Maybe take yourself a bath, maybe go buying some bubble bath, possibly. That's very Venus. Or just something. When we're thinking about Virgo, you want to do something that can, if you're feeling low, what does you looking at a high point look like, and then getting in that routine with Venus and Virgo. Virgo needs it needs that energy of structure. Otherwise, it can just be busy, and just kind of it could turn into this nervous type of energy. And you have a lot of energy for this. So this is kind of a nice thing about this, is that this isn't going to necessarily be one where you'll feel like you're in the dumps, because the sun is another important factor. Of course, it's one of the lights, so we look to the sun for the lunar return. And the sun is in the 10th house here, which is an angular house. So the sun is bringing a lot of strength for you. This could be a time your sun is wanting to do something for your career. So maybe this is you getting in a place where you're being recognized, maybe in your community, possibly. The 10th house is the people who it's people who don't know you, who, like, what would be an example? Like, it's like your titles, like if you're like the mom or the accountant or the judge or those type of things, those labels that people put on you who don't know you that well. So that could be where your sun is wanting to focus on. Maybe it's getting out there in different types of ways. Maybe, again, like I say, in being of service, this is, maybe it's doing something that really brings you kind of passion, some kind of joy here, something that can help you move those emotions. Because another thing you want to look to as well is your rising sign for that month. And you and I actually are having in a similar one. My rising is in Scorpio too. So it's going to be very important to find ways to move those energies. Scorpio is one, when you think about the ascendant, that could be like how your personality is coming off. And Scorpio can be very loving. It can be one that has if it can find a focus and find a way to channel those emotions constructively, Scorpio can really move through some powerful things and go through these really kind of powerful kind of transformations. But I feel like this is, if you find yourself in a stuck type of place, doing either some type of creative endeavor. When we're talking about with Scorpio, this could be, really great time for, if you're needing to isolate yourself. Maybe if you're not wanting to be public, maybe you're sharing your story with others. Maybe you're being more of a inspiration, putting a bit more kind of vulnerable, letting them see a more kind of intimate side of your personality with this lunar side. But I would also say just exploring too that more kind of intimate side of you, kind of seeing whatever things may be coming up for you in a kind of that dualistic way. I say that because the ruler of your ascendant would be Mars here, who's in Gemini, who's in the 8th house. So it's just like looking at the undercurrents of those things, and finding new expansive ways, since Mars is conjuncting Jupiter here right now, finding new expansive ways for you to maybe process these emotions here. So yeah, that's some things that I would say with some lunar returns, but it gives you an idea of what's coming up. I like to say it's like to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So that way you're not going through the ringer. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need to, if I'm going through some like harder house stuff, some 12th house, some 8th house, some 6th house things, then I know I need to take a bit more for myself, to take a bit of time and to recharge some. I'm going through, actually, if there's not any, I actually have one for my chart. I'll go over my chart real quick. I figured I'd have one kind of a backup here too. My moon, let me pull my drawer. My moon is, how are we doing on time here? I can't see it. But I'll be really quick on this one. But my moon here is happening in Gemini. So this is happening in the eighth house for me. This is a house of death, shared resources, things along those lines. So hence why I'm partway thinking about some things that I want to leave behind. The eighth house can deal with inheritance and things. So hence why I'm kind of starting this lunar mansion thing. I'm putting myself more out there, wanting to be where I'm helping people kind of going through the same fears, because we all go through the same fears, anxieties, worries. We all have those cycles. And so this is just me trying to create a platform for that, as well as kind of bring in some more resources for the home space. I'm actually in a similar thing where my son is also in the 10th house as well. So a thing for focusing on career. I've been doing a lot more volunteering as well. So, my moon natally is in the 11th house. So that's been a real kind of thing that's been kind of filling me up there. And with my rising sign being in Scorpio as well, I've been channeling my stuff into the astrology. That's been a big thing that's been helping me not get too stuck in emotions. Because, with the 8th house, it's not that I've been immune. I've been, even though I have Jupiter on the ascendant, it's not like I don't get down. It definitely happens, because like I was saying, my son is natally in the house of misfortune. So you could see that as like oh no, your life is doomed, but it doesn't have to be. I say life's been pretty solid. It's had its challenges, it's had its experiences, but when you see the themes, when you find the patterns, the moon can help you to note the patterns, to help you brace yourself, to help you get to feel more aligned with that higher sense of self. Again, the moon and the sun, that relationship, that cycle really helps us. The moon gets the light codes from the sun and translates us to those in different phases. She doesn't just pour it all at once, because it would be a lot. She allows this process to be integrated. So in this lunar cycle too is just to learn to work with the natural cycles of things, to not rush the growth process, to know that everything happens in this divine timing once you get into your flow. So but I think that's all that I have to say for this thing. I appreciate y'all joining me for this live. If you happen to be coming in late, again, like all this information, if you have any questions about joining me and kicking with me in the Lunar Mansion, all that information is down below. I'm going to host a class every month, indefinitely. So just feel free. And again, if you have any questions, if you're not sure which moon cycles that you want to sign up for, we can talk about those things. We can look into this stuff. I can get your chart information, kind of go through, see what lunations are going on. It's just like, okay, maybe we'll maybe join around here, and here, and we can just go from there. So, but sign up is open now. I I have it set to where it's open till about a day before. So you'll have till September 2nd to join this group. So I look forward to seeing you all there. I appreciate the support for everything. So until next time, be mindful out there. You keep raising that vibration through the roof. You seize the day and the night. Keep eyes on the moon. And I will see if I know how to start or how to stop this. But I will catch you on the next one. Later.